Unfortunately, Doreen wasn't sure Mac believed that, though. Nor had he believed her at first about the dead bodies. It took closing an old cold case and several more current cases before he did. So, all in all, Mac should be thanking her. Maybe he should even be paying her for her assistance. She brightened for a moment, contemplating the idea of a fat check coming from the local Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and then shook her head. Not going to happen. She shrugged. It was her current reality, and, for whatever it was worth, she was a whole lot happier now than when she had been a plastic Barbie who never worried about money. She stared at the scratch on her palm, blood already welling up. She should have worn gardening gloves. No point looking at her damaged nails. Besides, she couldn't see them for the dirt. "Doreen?" She spun around and yelled, "I'm in the back." She turned toward the felled wire fence and sighed. This would make a mess of her hands, and possibly her back. She headed to her teacup, scooped it off the rock, and took a sip. When she heard footsteps, she pivoted to see Mac walking toward her, holding Goliath while scratching his furry head and talking to Muggs, who had run to greet him. She set down her cup and beamed. There was just something about Mac. Mac grinned, setting the cat free on the grass, giving Muggs a smile and a quick ear rub. "Leave you alone for a week and look at you. You're ripping the place apart." She laughed. "Well, someone had to," she said with a smile. Thaddeus decided to join them now, landing inside the backyard. "Hey, boy," Mac said, waiting for the bird to walk to him for a quick pat on the head. All three animals clustered nearby to watch the big man. "What brings you by?" Doreen asked. He pointed to the front of the house. "Is that crowd bothering you?" She shrugged. "The notoriety is definitely different. Can't say I'm accustomed to it. However, the stress is easing slightly." "Well, you are accustomed to notoriety, just not necessarily at this level." She winced at the reminder of her wealthy, now estranged husband and the number of times she'd been photographed as his partner at one do or another. She nodded. "Point to you. Doesn't necessarily mean I like the sensationalism, though." He motioned to the fence. "Did you mean to take that down?" She glared at him. "Does it look like I did it by accident?" He laughed. "With you, anything's possible." He walked over and tested the corner post. "This won't stand for long either." He looked at the long and rambling, busted-up fence on the side edge of her property shared with one neighbor, and the big fancy fence butted up against it that was her neighbor's. "Are you going to remove this side, too?" "Is there any reason I can't and just use the neighbor's fence?" He shrugged. "That's what I'd do." With a big fat smile, she asked, "Can you pull out the last of those posts?" She was almost rubbing her hands together in joy at the thought of getting rid of this huge eyesore. Having this much of the ragtag fencing down had opened up so much of the creek's natural beauty that she couldn't wait to get rid of the rest of her creekside fence. It seemingly took him nothing but the same effort to lift a cup of coffee, and he had the huge iron post up and out of the ground. She couldn't even rock the pole slightly. "It's a big mess back here," Mac said. "For now, the only good place to drag this old fencing is in the middle of the backyard. It'll take some of this plant stuff here with it." "That plant stuff you're talking about happens to be the perennial bushes that I would like to keep." He glared at her, but twisted so he had the post with both hands, pulled it higher over his head, and dragged what he could toward the center of her backyard, where it ended up in a big heap on the lawn. "You'll need some good wire cutters to clip this into manageable pieces." "What I need is a truck to make a trip to the dump," she announced. "I can't get very much in my car at one time." "After you work on Mom's garden project, we'll probably make a trip to the dump, depending on how much yard waste we need to get rid of at Mom's house and how much new compost we may need to add. We can always take some of your yard debris at the same time." She beamed. "Now that would be lovely." Then she frowned. "I don't think I have any tools that will cut up this wire fencing."